I'm Ray of RaiMagination, and I know you've seen my thumbnail and I know what you're thinking, that I don't do anime, and really I don't, but I can make exceptions for my loved ones when they ask me to do something special for them. And my stepdaughter, whom I love more than life itself, has been begging me to draw her favorite character, Ichigo, from the anime Bleach, and I'm happy to do it. Now, I know you know the first commandment of creativity is to enjoy what you draw, and I don't typically enjoy anime, but I do enjoy seeing the smile on my girl's face. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the video. Of the several pictures Lilly gave me to choose from, I decided to recreate this one of Ichigo with these horns and blood and stuff. I don't know whose original drawing this is, and I'm not claiming it for myself, and I don't expect this video to be monetized. This is just what my baby wanted, and what baby wants, baby gets, within reason. Since I knew what the picture was going to be already, I could forego commandment number 5, which is to draw a few different thumbnail concepts of the thing before starting it on the final work. Instead, I did a trial run at freehanding the piece to get a feel for the shapes and composition. I knew I wanted to grid out the line work to make sure it would be as exact as possible, but it's so easy to lose sight of the bigger picture when you're focused on each tiny little square. A can't see the forest for the trees kind of situation, you might say. Gridding a picture is a great way to do a drawing in order to make sure the proportions are accurate, especially when you are enlarging or shrinking a picture. The card I used for the drawing is 11 inches by 11 inches square, so I drew lines to divide it into 1-inch squares all over. On my iPad, I used the application Procreate to do the same to the reference picture. From there, all I did is simply copy the outline of the shapes in the reference grid squares into the grid squares on the cardstock to get the preliminary sketch. I first learned about the grid method when some scientists from Battelle Labs came into my 3rd grade class. They each gave us a grid and described the lines that we were to draw in each box. Then, at the end, we were able to look at the whole thing and see a complete picture. This is how TVs work, they said, and I thought, it's a good thing my TV can do it better than I can. It was years later when I learned that the grid method is also used for artistic purposes. Bonjour, I am an artistic porpoise, and I am French for some reason. There are many young or beginner artists that I have seen who draw their favorite animated characters by placing a sheet of paper over top of a picture of the character and tracing over it. If this is you, I would challenge you to try out the grid method to copy a picture instead. You would be learning a valuable skill, and I'll bet you find it much more rewarding in the end. It's important to note that the grid of your reference picture needs to be the same proportion as the grid of your drawing. For instance, if you are duplicating a picture to twice the size, you would have your reference grid squares to be, for example, 1 inch by 1 inch, and your drawing grid squares to be 2 inches by 2 inches. I used the grid method on a graphite portrait of my friend's grandparents once and got the drawing grid just slightly too narrow, resulting in the final portrait looking like Grandma and Grandpa had dropped a few pounds. Always remember to do your pencil work lightly. This includes your grid lines as well as the sketched line work. Once you go over the pencil sketch with your fine liner or brush pen, you will want to erase the pencil as completely as possible before starting with color. And as always, remember commandment number 4. Save your line work either by taking a picture or a photocopy of it. Lilly and I have only started a relationship a year and a half ago, but in that time we have grown so close. I don't have any other children yet, so when she started calling me mom, it filled me with a glow of joy, though tempered with a little concern that her mother would mind. Not only doesn't her mother seem to mind, but she and I get along famously. I am always amazed at what an intelligent and strong young woman Lilly is and is becoming. She has seen a lot in her young life, but either because of that or in spite of it, she is especially loving and compassionate, always looking for ways to help others and be kind and considerate. Lilly is also so funny and silly, and we have had so many good times and so much fun in the last year and a half. Whenever she is with my husband and I, it's always a good time. I have even enjoyed the mom things, like teaching her tips about grocery shopping, cautioning her about boys, and saving the day when emergencies arise, like a spider in her bedroom or the car she's in running out of gas, and consoling a broken heart. Only in the last month have her father and I married, and I have officially become her stepmom. She was my maid of honor, and she made such a beautiful one that I told her jokingly that she wasn't supposed to outshine the bride. Of any daughter I could have picked out in the world, I couldn't have chosen one better than my Lilly. Happy birthday, sweetie pie face. I love you, and it's time for color. The one thing that I was concerned about with this piece was that it was a lot of light gray, and it is a relatively larger piece. I did not want to use up all of my gray and neutral ink, but I figured I could always buy refill ink. That's the thing about Copics, is that they are the only alcohol markers that I have found to be refillable. On this piece, I did use a combination of Arteza, Ohu, and Copic markers, but since I did this drawing back in August and it's now December, I honestly don't know how much of which I used. Hey, editing takes time, folks, and I had a wedding to plan. In the end, I didn't have to worry about running out because there were more very light shades that I could use from not only the gray family, but also from blue, brown, and green. For the blood, I used a handful of different shades of red and orange and yellow to get that just right mix of rich crimson with rusty undertones. Then I saturated it with a lighter beige color to soften the edges and make it look more organic. The tribal looking shape on his cheek, I'm guessing, is a tattoo or something, and it's also red, so to differentiate it from the blood, I only used one rich red color and kept the edges sharp. I thought the background of the reference picture was kind of boring, so I decided to make it a bit more dynamic. I kept the same general look, but instead of a smooth color gradient, I went for something that resembled sepia tone fire. This could be like power emanating from Ichigo, or maybe that everything is burning around him once he's done with it. Then I added some floating embers with the white gel pen and went in to accentuate the blood with the white, giving it that shiny, wet, gory aesthetic. Thank you so much for joining me on another adventure of RaiMagination today, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for all notifications for all of my upcoming videos. Oh, what was that, a head? Oh, that's hilarious. Say bye. Say thank you. Say like, comment, and subscribe.